Ryan, why did you choose Dash? How did you come to Dash?
Sure. So for me, I was already in the payments industry as an analyst. I was making investments in payments companies when I came across Bitcoin. And I thought Bitcoin was very innovative, but deeply flawed as a payments mechanism. And I started looking around the rest of the space because I believed that although Bitcoin had an early lead, it was set up in such a way that it would be very difficult for Bitcoin to change, and that other projects would be able to adapt and eventually incorporate payments industry best practices and outperform in the long run. And I came across a lot of different projects that I thought were interesting for various reasons. Started dabbling in investing in some of them, lost a lot of money. And then I came across Dash, and Dash was the first project I saw that the changes they were making were customer-facing changes. The ability to enhance privacy being the first feature was something that consumers might actually care about. And so that was what first attracted me to it. And then ultimately, when I moved to Arizona and met Evan for the first time, the exchange of ideas was incredible. And I could see that he was brilliant, and I could see that he was receptive to my ideas. And so when we started working together, I just really enjoyed it. And I, over the years, became more and more involved until 2016. I quit my job and joined the team full time.
So, do you have some experience, I mean, outside cryptocurrency sphere that you imply or use in this sphere?
Yes. So, like I said, I have a strong background in payments. And
you mean like American Express, like
I covered American Express. I not only covered large public companies like American Express, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, Vantif, a lot of large publicly traded companies. But I also covered smaller companies. We had a private equity fund. And so we would make investments as small as $50 million into a company when they were kind of earlier on, established but in a growth phase. And so small, high growth companies was the other end of the spectrum that we looked at, and looked at them globally. And so really the whole spectrum of smaller, fast-growing companies on up to the very largest public companies in the space, I did analysis on them. And for me, I really felt like digital currencies offered something unique. They have unique attributes that no other payment method has. Literally no other payment method has all of the attributes that digital currency does. That means at the very least, they will take up a significant share of the payments market. And so knowing that, it was just a matter of finding a project that was receptive to ideas and had the ability to adapt. And with the master nodes in place, Dash really had the ability to adapt and simply vote on things, as opposed to, the adaptation model of many other currencies is to split. And that's not a healthy way to move forward. So that in particular was very attractive to me about Dash.
How often do you connect with Ewan?
I connect with him probably at least every other month. And we'll talk through the latest developments of the network. We'll talk through some of the research that he's been doing. He gets my input on those things. I tell him what I think can be put to work in the network or can be slotted in for some point later when it'll be more applicable to what we're doing. We just really stay connected on the work that each other is leading, and then see where there is a good mesh up, and then you know, it's always a healthy discussion. It always leads to new ideas that he instills in me or that I instill in him.
Does he share with his opinion about budget proposals, about marketing, or he just concentrates on?
He really doesn't, and that's by design. He worries a lot about the influence that he can have as founder, and he wants to be careful about using that influence. He doesn't want to hold too much sway over the network. He really believes in the concepts of decentralization and decentralized decision making. That even holds true within the culture of Dash Core Group. We don't have, you know, we try to come to consensus internally on decisions that we're making. And if we can't get widespread buy-in for an idea, then it probably isn't the right way to move forward. And so, you know, he's really instilled that culture in the people that were here early on, and that culture continues to exist even in our current form. Now, we are much larger. We do have a much more defined organization structure and way of doing things, and division of roles and responsibilities within the team. You need to in order to scale. But when it comes to ideas and when it comes to the direction that we're going to move, there's a great deal of consensus building that goes on internally within the team. And then, of course, there's a consensus that happens across the entire community in terms of how we're voting and how we really view ourselves as a community and as a payment network. And so I think that for Evan, it's more important to make sure that that tradition continues to move forward than it is for his individual opinion to weigh in on these decisions being made.
I see.
I don't want to speak for Evan, but that's my perception of kind of his philosophy.
What result will you consider as perfect when you tell the team we've done it to create super?
What do I view in terms of profit?
I mean, what?
What do I define as success?
Yes.
So I think that what we're trying to do is have impact on people. And we're trying to be relevant to people's lives. And so to me personally, the measure of success for Dash is the number of people that we're able to impact and the value that that impact has on their lives. It is for that reason that we don't always go for the largest immediate financial gain. The largest immediate financial gain would be to go sell Dash to speculators and drive the price up in the near term. I don't view that as being successful. That is attracting already wealthy people to put money into your project, but you're not having a great deal of impact in the world. We are concentrating on markets that are underserved by traditional financial institutions, the cannabis industry, and the consumers in that industry. We're going after places like Venezuela that are really enduring a great deal of pain due to the existing financial institutions. We're going to places that lack financial freedom. These are not always the largest markets, but they are the markets where we can have the most impact and really help people. And if we get Dash into the hands of people in those regions of the world, there is a direct correlation between financial freedom and financial outcome. And so we can help these people to improve their lives, to better their financial lives, and ultimately, as their economies grow, we get to grow with them and share in that success. It also allows us to go out to the next tier of countries where we can have an impact and expand the Dash ecosystem even more. And guess what happens to those initial countries? They're the big holders of Dash, or one of the big holders of Dash, and their wealth goes up with the success of Dash. And so we have the ability here to go around the world and help some of the poorest people to improve their lives and really rebalance the world economy in the favor of some of the worst off. Now, we can't reach everyone. There is a prerequisite that they at least need to be wealthy enough to afford a smartphone or a device that they can access the internet on. So we can't reach everywhere. But there's a lot of people that are suffering that we can reach. And so we're trying to balance those two things and try to really get ingrained in some of these economies where we can have real impact.
Great. Ryan, thank you very much. We are very glad to be a part of Dash community and to contribute together with you.
Well, thank you as a member of the community for your contributions too in helping making Dash successful.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.